I originally recorded these videos in November and December of 2016 before I started using mods. I thought they might be useful for people who still don't use mods, whether it's because of game style, wanting to play the game the way it was meant to be, that sort of thing. And also just an interesting look back at what was possible before we built with mods. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hi folks, this is Ed, aka Gamer Gramps, and this time I've brought you to my Red Rocket settlement. Now, unlike the Sanctuary settlement, I'm not going to take you through every single building like I did there. I think a walkthrough of this entire area is probably going to take less than 15 minutes, so I'm just going to do one video here. So, as we step up, obviously I did concrete walls. When I started doing this one, we had just sort of got the concrete through our DLCs, and I wanted to see what could be done with concrete walls, and I really kind of like how this has come together. Obviously I did rug glitch the gate in place so it would sit between the concrete walls, but I really like the way that it turned out. Now here, as we come in, I'd like you to notice how we've actually set several of the buildings inside of the walls. And I know that sounds a little weird, but because of the size of the settlement, it just made more sense to to use those outer walls as part of the walls for the buildings than it did to just wall off the outside and then try to still build buildings inside. So here we go. We'll head in for a moment. This is the armory. Right near the gatehouse, in case there's an issue, people can run in here and grab weaponry. Back here we've got a small sleeping area for 2 individuals. And here we've got a slightly larger sleeping area with a small table where people can sit if necessary. And you'll notice I've tried to keep that same theme going that I had in Sanctuary, where everybody gets at least a bed and a footlocker in order to keep their personal effects. Here is our main farming area. Provides plenty of food for the entire settlement. You know, there's no issues there. One of our several guard posts, and here you can see that the guard posts are actually just put straight on top of the concrete wall. So, pretty decent there. These, I'm not sure that I like the placement very much, but we had these large concrete walls, and the idea was just, yeah, you've already got something concrete, you might as well put the artillery right there. The biggest reason I don't like them is because they would be very susceptible to enemy fire from outside. And, you know, just a couple of marksmen could take your artillery out in a very quick manner. So let's head down here for a moment. Now, you can see here's one of the standard artillery emplacements like I put in Sanctuary. A little more hidden, a little more down, and a little harder to attack. Over here we do have a couple of separate beds, mostly for refugees, people who definitely need some place to stay, but we just don't have the extra room for everyone to stay inside. So sometimes, you know, if you're a refugee, if you're a visitor, you have to take the not so great area. I have been considering putting a bus just outside of this place and using it sort of like the hotel in Sanctuary. Let's step in here for a moment. This was my standard way of doing restrooms, especially early in the game. And what I would do is create this little cubby here and sort of put on one of these small wood walls by rug glitching it in, and then I would have a spot where people could come in and take a bath behind a curtain of sorts. Now, of course, I didn't have any curtains because I wasn't using any mods, but the flags did quite well as curtains. Then, back here, I had 2 separate stalls for people to use the restroom. And then, down and behind the stalls, they are not here anymore, and that's because I'm getting ready to change over to the mods, but I used to put buckets, and those buckets were for collecting the human waste, which could then be used to fertilize the farms. Let's step inside the Red Rocket and kind of show you what's been going on here. In actuality, I have not made a lot of changes inside of the Red Rocket. You will notice that pretty much all of my settlements have a power armor to be used in defense of that settlement. It also makes it handy when I'm adventuring through the area and all of a sudden I get a call that someone needs help with defending, something like that. It allows me to just run to the nearest settlement, grab power armor, and go. You can see that we walled up all of these windows, and then this is actually the general's quarters. Does not have a GQ on the wall, but it's because it's just such a small area, and it's so close to Sanctuary that the idea that I would actually stay here would be very rare. Finally, let's go and take a look at one of the inventions. This is something new that I built specifically for this settlement, and that is the Minuteman Ready Room. Now, this is probably one of the nicest Minuteman Ready Rooms, but the idea being that in each settlement, not necessarily are the Minutemen running the place, but they do usually have some sort of a defensive component there. They leave a few people as a complement to ensure that each of the settlements remain safe. So in this case, we've got our standard poster, our enlistment poster, and you'll note as we go to some of the other settlements that a Minuteman Ready Room always has MMRR on it. And as we head up in here, you can see that we have several beds for Minutemen, and the Minutemen have their own small little sort of sitting area, and the officer in charge here also has a telephone. That telephone is actually linked with Sanctuary, and of course several weapons, ammunition, everything needed to defend this settlement. Now, the reason it only has a crappy suit of radar power armor here, and not the greatest of weapons up here by the Minutemen, is because it's so close to Sanctuary that Sanctuary would be expected to come and assist if there was a call. So, I hope you liked this little walkthrough. I know it's relatively small and not too much to really see. I guess I've got one more little room over here to show you. But yeah, there's just not much to it. A lot of my designs are very simple and the same. Oh, I guess I could show you this area. This is the bar area, and really right now that's all it has, is just a bar. Eventually this will be a vendor area much like the one in Sanctuary. But when I was first building this, I just thought, until I can clean up all this garbage and all this trash, why would anybody come here and want to buy things other than a bar? People obviously will come to a bar because people like to drink, especially when you've got problems. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little walkthrough. If you have and you've enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you didn't like it for some reason, go ahead and comment. Let me know how I can get better. I am completely open to suggestion. And I just really appreciate you watching.